Hello everyone, in this particular video, I will be sharing with you how to use the peer assessment feature on eLEAP. Sometimes when you have group projects or group work where you want the members to evaluate themselves, among the peers, what you can do is you can also use eLEAP to automate this. Automate as in to compile the marks, because if you do manually, sometimes it could be daunting if you have a lot of students. If it's a small group, it will be fine, but if you have like more than 50, 60, sometimes it will be very hard for you to track the evaluation or the assessment. So what you need to do is, in order for this to work, you need to make sure that the students are already assigned to their own groupings, as in the project grouping, not the course group, the project groupings. For example, if you go to participant here, in my case, you can see that the students are already in their respective group. All right. So how do you do this? A few ways to do this. You can do it manually if you want to, but manually would means that you have to take the list of your students and then assign them one by one, which could take a lot of time. So what you need to do is you can also use group selection. So go to add an activity or resource here, for example. Go for this one, group self-selection, or if you can't find it, just search for self-selection. Then you will see this. Okay, how does it work is like you allow students to create their own group. Of course, you can verify later on. So you can say like project grouping. Okay, then you can put the instruction here. The leader creates the group and other members join the same group. So what happens is one person will create the group, like whatever name they want, and then the members of that particular group will join. Okay, so you can enable it from certain period to whatever period you want. You can also specify the minimum number of per group. Let's say you specify that minimum must be 3, maximum must be 6, for example, and then maximum number of groups to participate in. So they can only participate in one group. They cannot join more than one. So 1 would be the nice number. Then you can put here participant can join group. Check this. Participant can leave group. Well, no problem if they want to leave. Participants can create groups. Participant can set the name of new groups or set and edit. Normally for description, I would not allow it. But if you want to allow, it's fine, because sometimes they will put too many details there. It could be disturbing. So you can just uncheck this or check this. But if you like them to set the description, no problem, right? Then the rest of this, you don't have to change anything, because we are not going to use supervisors per group or whatever. This is only useful if you want to assign supervisors to group. Like if you are co-teaching and everyone is sharing the same group, and then you want to split by a bigger group, that can be done. But in this case, because we're talking about project groupings, then just set it according to the groups. Okay, the rest are all okay, and then you just save and return to the course. Now once you set this, the students will come in and then do their grouping. In my case, because they have done it, so I don't have a blank one here. What happened is, if it's blank, you will see something like this, because the maximum is 6, right? There are 5 here. So if there's another member who wants to join this group, they can, right? Just click become member of. All right. Now in your case, just in case you need to check, what you can do is you can click manage groups, and then you can check the member of each group. If you like to add members or remove, you just click this one, and then you can add new members, just in case you want to cross-check whether they are all in the right group. Clear? All right. So that is for the grouping. Once this grouping is done, what happens is peer assessment will be running to evaluate each other within the group that they have joined. Let me just delete this first. Okay. Now, in order for peer assessment to work, you go to, let's say in my case, I'm going to put it here. So you can use the peer assessment, just add an activity here, and then just put here, look for peer assessment, look for peer assessment, click peer assessment, and then just name your peer assessment. For example, assignment 3, peer evaluation. Then you can give your instruction here, evaluate your group members using the criteria given. You can also explain the scale, like 1 to 5 here if you want to, like 1 equals what, 2 equals what. You can do that kind of instruction here. You can also remind them that if you do not evaluate your peers, you will get a 0, for example, if you want that to happen, of course, right? Then under grading, don't have to do anything, just keep it as it is. But the most important thing is under peer assessment setting. So you can set the time as usual, when and until when, the due date. You can also log editing. I normally log editing, meaning once they have submit, that's it. If you want to allow late submission, you can also allow, but it's normally we don't. Maximum number of uploaded file. Usually here we will put 0 because you don't want them to upload anything. But if you want to allow them to upload something, evidence, whatever, then you can allow 1 or 2, whatever. But normally we will put 0. 0 means there will be no uploading box appear. Okay. Allow students to self-grade along with peers. If you allow them to self-rate themselves as well, then you enable this. If you don't want that, that means they only evaluate the peers, they don't evaluate themselves. Then put no. Okay, depending on your liking. Then the calculator setting, let's say marks is 10%, and also penalty for non-submission. Let's say if they don't submit, what is the penalty? If you want to give 0, that means you have to set as 10, because 10 minus 10 is 0. This is penalty. So but if you penalty is 5, then you can put 5, means maximum they can get is only 5 because of the penalty. But normally we will give 0, so we just put 10 here, meaning 10 is the maximum marks. If they don't evaluate, then the 10 will be minus 10, then they get 0. Okay, assessment criteria, then you just set the criteria here accordingly. For example, you can say I'm going to type criteria 1 only. All right, criteria 1. You can type the criteria from the form that you have, put in the criteria, and then set in the scale 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, depending. Let's say I put 1 to 5, then this is criteria 2, blah blah blah, same thing, 1 to 5, and then criteria 3, blah blah blah, same thing. All right, so and then you can add criteria. If you have 5, then you just add the 5. All right, if you require them to justify, let's say you want to have a bit of justification, you can go by you can hide it from student, meaning they will not be able to see anything. If you put visible anonymous, then they will see their marks, but they don't know who rate them. That will be visible anonymous. If you want to be so transparent, it will be visible with username. They actually can see who evaluate what score. So same thing here. Okay, but normally we just hide. If you want them to know, then you can put visible anonymous, right? But I think visible anonymous sometimes can be quite disheartening, because they will know that all the peers are evaluating them low. So I would just put hidden from student first, because you can still check before you release the scores. Same thing here. If you like some justification, then let's say you want some justification, you can put hidden from student, but then you can ask them either to evaluate the peer as a whole or criteria. Criteria means every single criteria that they give to the peer, they will have to justify, which is a bit too long. So normally we'll just give peer as a holistic measurement. Then you can set the character limit. If you don't want to set any limit, you put 0, meaning there's no limit. Okay? 0 means no limit. And whatever here is no changes needed. Then you just save and return to course. I'm going to show you my sample here. You see my sample here. What it will look like is like this. All right, you will see your groupings are being shown, and then the student will not be able to evaluate until it's open. In this case, I put until between these two, depending on how you want to do it. And then let's see, if I click on the group, you will see like this. The student will come in, and then they will see the scoring by criteria. This is criteria 1, criteria 2, criteria 3, criteria 4, and criteria 5. So once they get the evaluation, you don't have to do the manual calculation, because eLEAP will calculate for you, and then you will get the scoring by the student. So you just will go to the grade book later on, the grading book. You will see the score for each student, all right, based on this. And you can see the justification here as well. Every person will have to give justification to the peers. Okay, if you want to enable this, but which is good actually, because you can actually know what are their views on their peers. Okay, then of course now you're seeing everyone's. The student will only see their part. I mean, like the column for them. not like this, not the whole thing. And if you want to intervene, you can also put tutor grading if you want to, meaning you kind of give different marks if you want to, or else just leave it blank. If you have any problems, you can ask me or leave it in the comment section down there, and then I'll try to help you. Okay, so happy trying.